I took my basic on 90 millimeter guns. That's a big guns. Big gun back then. They got it.
Shells.
Oh, it's about an 8-inch shell, a 6/8. I forgot now. They were about that big around. The shell was. They explode when they hit. Point detonate, they call it. Anyway, they come from the old German 88s. You know, they got the pattern from that. These were the 90s we was on. And I took my basic on it. Well, after we got through basic, we were gonna go overseas. They shipped us to Camp Pickett, Virginia, for at the portable embarkation up there. Well, while I was up there, my brother, he just got out of. I had two brothers come home from Germany while I was in service. While I was just going in. Well, he got sick. One of them, oldest brother, and next one older, and they sent me a letter that sent me a wire that I need to come home. They afraid he wasn't going to live, so I got a emergency leave, come home for a few days to see him. Well, when I got back, my outfit had done left, went overseas. There's another way the Lord was taking care of me. They had done left and went overseas. Well, they signed me into another unit that was waiting, you know, to go overseas, and I didn't know none of them. Well, when they started shipping, they pulled me off as surplus. So they signed me into nothing. They pulled me off his surplus, and the next thing I know, they had shipping orders to go back to Fort Bliss, Texas, where I was trained as cadre to train new men on 90 millimeters. And I didn't know. I didn't have no education. 5th grade, I went. Well, I loved the gun. That's one thing. I loved that old 90 millimeter gun. I knew it by heart. Knew the parts and everything. Had to assemble it and everything, you know. Take the bridge block out of that thing just as good. Because I liked it, you know, and I just learned it. I couldn't read no book on it. But anyway, they sent me back as cadre, and I made buck sergeant. And I had 15 men under me. My gun crew was 15. Well, that counting your tank driver and everything, or for cat driver we call them. Yeah, them poor cats, what they was, had tracks like a tank, you know, it pulled them guns. Well, counting him, well, I had 15. And they authorized us to appoint us acting corporal. So, you know, to have a corporal to pull guard stuff, you know. Well, I had one nice boy. I just picked him out because he clean cut, and he didn't look like he drank or nothing, and he looked like he had a pretty good education, you know. So I picked him out, and he had the high school education. He was in the band. He was in the band, and he could march good. That's another thing I noticed about him. He could march good. And so I picked him out, asked him about would he like to be an acting corporal. And I explained to him that he wouldn't pull no guard duty, but he'd be a corporal at the over guards. Oh yeah, he took it. So he done my roll calling for me. Now, there ain't no way in the world I could pronounce them names. I'd know what they were. Something like Hernandez and all that. I never heard of them till I had all kinds of breeds. I had Japanese Americans, and Hawaiians, Mexicans, and Yankees, Whops and everything, and you had all kinds of people. You didn't know what in the world he had. And the name, you ain't never, Perez, I never heard. Old plowboy like me ain't never heard nothing, not no Perez or Hernandez or Gonzalez and all that kind of stuff. Well, anyway, we stayed at and we trained that bunch and chipped them out, and they sent me down on the main post at Fort Bliss, and it's right out of El Paso, and attached me to MPs. So what? Attachment MPs, all it done made me pull guard duty. We was right there on the Guadalajara Bridge. Juarez, cross over into Juarez. When them boys come back over Juarez, a lot of that over there was off limits. You just had a certain place you go. Well, then we'd have to make them go down in under the bridge down in the basement, where the military had a basement down there, and they'd have to take a pro kit. Have to take a pro before they come back up. We ain't done that. We ain't going nowhere. Still, they had to go take a pro. You know, that's venereal disease. In case they fool around and got venereal disease, that pro kit was supposed to, you know, kill it before it got too bad on them. Anyway, I pulled guard around Washington Park in El Paso, and had an old green frog. They called it the Green Frog beer joint down in the basement in one of them places there on our beat. Me and another boy just like me, we didn't know nothing about no MP duty. But anyway, we had MP badge on, had a gun and everything, belly clubs, and we was out there, and somebody come running out of that hollering for the MP, and I went back up there. Me and the boy went back up there, and I walked over and looked down in that Green Frog down there, and there looked about 100 soldiers down there fighting. I told that boy, I said, I ain't sticking my head in there. We backed out, and I called for the backup, you know, called for the main police, MPs. It was a few minutes, boy. The dog wagon was there. We cleaned them out then. Of course, I stayed on the back side. I didn't get down the front. I didn't know how to use that billy club that good. Anyway, we got them out there, got it cleaned out. And but that was real funny. And me making sergeant, and I had men with college graduates in my outfit. But you know, yeah, a lot of people had big education like that, ain't got no common horse sense, and that's what counts in the Army. You had to keep your eyes and ears open, your mouth shut, and you could get along just good with them. But if you ever start mouthing off, they know you get more duty and then anybody else. And we had one of those boys stayed on KP all the time. He was about sorry, so he wouldn't get up. I had one in my outfit. Well, two of them. We went out. We had to go out. We had to leave out at 11 o'clock one night to go out in the desert, and we was up close to White Sands, New Mexico then, and that sand was so bright up there we had to have goggles. You adjusted them things in the middle for your eyes. That sand was so bright it'd blind you. And we went up there and we had to set our gun down, be ready to fire by morning time they send the targets in. They'd send targets in with those airplanes, you know. Little Arquettes, remote control planes. We'd shoot them down. Anyway, I missed two of my men. I couldn't find them. And we had to turn a report in, roll call. We had to turn them in, turn that report. I told him I missed two men. He said, Rhett, did they leak? I said, no, they was with us when we left. Well, I had to turn them in missing, turn them into a CO missing, and I come back to my gun crew down there. And we said, man, one of them boys told me, said, you know what? Said I believe I heard them boys in that cat up there. They had them big ammunition boxes in them cats, you know, that pull the gun, had them storage boxes in it. And them boogers that got in them storage boxes and went to sleep. He said, old boy said he thought he heard some of them. I went up and opened the storage box, and one's in one, one's in the other. We done took the ammunition out, see, and they got in there and went to sleep. Well, I had to report them, and my CO captain asked me what I want to do, give them company punishment or court-martial. I told him, I said, I thought those boys were pretty good, you know. I knew they was just lazy, but I thought maybe if we just give them company punishment, you know, straighten them out. Well, I told him, I said, let's just give them company punishment. He said, all right, then you got to point your corporal to be with them. They got to dig a 6x6 beside the mess hall up there. then cover it back up. I told that corporal, you're going to have to be with them. He said, I'll be with them. So we put them to work. That night they dug a 6x6. It's sand like, ground. They dug that 6x6 and got ready, and they went to the mess hall, and the mess sergeant said, had a can full of garbage, told them to pour garbage in there, cover that, back up, level that thing back up. They put all that dirt back that 6. My boy turned out to be a good boy. Made me a good boy. Yeah. I didn't have no more trouble. Well, we had to come back to Fort McClellan to be discharged from Camp Roberts, California, which is 2,400 miles. So we got that old Pontiac, loaded it down, left a little place up behind us up there for my baby to lay. Blenda was a baby then. And we cut out. There's 3 of us coming together because I worked in the motor pool, and I had tools to work on cars things. Well, they wanted me to follow them so I'd, so they break down, I could help them. Well, we come on down, drove all day and just about it, and we all stopped and got us a hamburger. Well, Marilyn, she got sick. So we stopped and got us a motel. The boys in the middle with us, he stopped. The other couple, they kept going. They went on, left us. Well, we stayed that night, and that girl, she had some kids, and she had some Paragard, and she gave my wife a spoonful of that Paragard, checked the stomach. When we got up the next morning, we cut out on our journey, and somewhere or another we got lost from another couple. So we kept coming. It started raining on us in Dallas, Texas. Man, started raining. That old Pontiac had an old windshield wiper on that thing. Just whoop, whoop, worked from the top down. That thing just worked a little bit. Couldn't see good. Lights right down on the ground on that old Pontiac. We made it into Birmingham that night, and I knew I had to get on 78 to get to Lincoln, where my wife's mother lived. So I seen 78, Highway 78, so I hit it. Boy, I knew I felt good then, so I took off. Well, that's why I seen a sign that said Winfield, so many miles, and I said, oh, I'm going the wrong way. I was going north, and I was going west when I should have been going east. Well, I had to turn around, come all the way back to Birmingham. I stayed on those 78 all the way to Lincoln. We got in there about 3-something that morning, and it was raining, water done puddled up on that old canvas on that top. Well, I said, you better get my clothes out, so they're going to get wet. I said, we ain't getting nothing out of here. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to give out. And I drove a little over 2,400 miles. Well, we went in there and laid down. Her and the mama sat up and talked a long time. I went to sleep. I got up the next morning. I went out there to get my wet clothes out, and it quit raining, and that water done soaked back in that top. There wasn't nothing wet in that thing. Everything was dry. I got out and started walking out there and looked, and the front tire was flat on the car. Good Lord was good. Boy, he brought it on there. And the thing didn't burn 1 quart of oil all the way home. That was something else. But we made it in, all right. Wow. I had to go back to Fort McClellan and get my discharge, and we didn't have nothing, boy. I got $200 when I got out. So we rented no house over yonder and got us a wood, a kerosene stove and a wood heater. We started out with that thing, boy. We was getting it. But, and I put in for a loan, built me a house out that Brecon. From there on, we finally got set up in the house business. We both got a good job. We made it all right. Still doing. Don't owe nobody nothing now, so we good shape.